Hello and welcome back to the Bishop's DT YouTube channel. Today we're going to be working on the minifigure project on Creo and looking at creating the body. So you'll need your working drawing, which is displayed on the screen now, from your packs, just to help you along the way if you get stuck with any of the dimensions. So once Creo opens, we're going to click on that working directory. We did this in the last video as well. So we click there, we're going to click our working directory. So this is your parts file, which should be already in your common folders list, and we're then going to press OK. So now the computer knows where we want to save all our work, in the same place where we started to make the head last time. I'm now going to click on New, which is the top left hand button. When we click on that, the little window appears, and we're going to change the file name. Remember, you don't need to put anything in the common name. We're just changing the file name to the word body. It's just going to make it easier to find things in the future. So we'll type that in and press OK. Remember to leave the common name blank. So Creo is now loading up into its main drawing stage. We're going to start with an extrude. So you've had a bit of practice using these before. So we're going to press extrude. So it's highlighted there in the middle of the screen at the top there. I'm going to click on that once, and I'm going to select the front plane to work on. So my mouse is moving over to it in the model tree, and you can see it goes orange. If you're not sure, I'll just go and highlight that for you and show you which plane we want to be drawing on. So my mouse is now pointing onto that front plane. It's nice and orange, you can see that. So to select it, I'll just go back to my model tree and click on front, and it then spins around. So like before, we're going to start with a rectangle. So we've used rectangle before in our previous tutorials. So we're going to click on rectangle, and you'll notice it says corner rectangle. So I need to change it to a center rectangle. To do that, we click on the little arrow to the right hand side of the button and select center rectangle. Now to draw a rectangle, I'm going to first go to the cross in the middle of the screen. And once my mouse snaps to that cross, I'm going to click once to start drawing my rectangle, move my mouse out, and then click once again to finish. Please do not click anymore. Once you've drawn one rectangle, that's perfect, it's complete. We then need to go up to the select button, which will then show you visually by changing the color of the block. So it's gone to a pink purple color, and it has two dimension lines on them. We need to change both of them. The bottom one is 150 and the one on the left hand side is 120. To change them, all you need to do is click or double click on the number and type in the new one. So this side one is 120, and we press enter to accept that. I was a bit quick on the 150, so I do apologize for that. So my mouse we use the refit button there just to zoom in. So 120, it'll just come up and show you that. If you hover your mouse over it, and if you can't see, it does come up. So there we go, strong dimension 120, and this one is 150. When I'm happy with both of them, I press the tick. It goes orange, which visually tells us it's 3D. I'm just using my middle mouse to spin it round, and you'll see that the front plane is at the back. So I'm just scrolled out using the mouse wheel, is at the back of the block. It's good practice to draw the front plane in the middle of your block. Now to do that, we change the depth setting. So we're going to move the block back by half of its entire width. Now this is good practice to put the block in the center of your design area, as it's going to help in the future that you're always going to have that reference point, your 0, 0 in the middle of the block. So I've just gone up to depth, and my mouse is now on the second button down, which is systematic. So basically it's going to put a line of symmetry. Your front plane will be a line of symmetry, so half the block will be on one side, the other half will be on the other. And when we press that button, what will happen is the whole block will shift backwards by half its total distance, thus putting the front plane through the center of that block. So when we're happy with that, we're just going to change the distance to 75, and I'll just view it in isometric and resize that using the bar that we used before in the previous tutorial. So we're just clicking on the buttons there to get it into isometric. So my mouse is just scrolling down onto the isometric button there. That will view it in isometric, and the refit button. When we're happy, we press the green tick and we'll refit it to our screen. So we're going to do another extrude on this, and we're going to extrude on the front face of the block. We could use a chamfer tool, but it's probably easier and quicker to do the extrude. So we press the extrude button, which is front and center on the ribbon there. So we press on that, and then I will select the front block. So not one of the planes this time, that front block there, which is highlighted. So we click once, and when we click, the whole thing's going to spin round. Now, so far we've used rectangles and we've used circles when we've been drawing on Creo. Now we're going to use the line tool. So my mouse is going to go up to the line tool. So you can see it above the rectangle tool that we've already used previously. We'll click on that and we're going to start drawing. Now when I start drawing, I want to snap to that top corner just below the word front. I'll click once to start drawing, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom edge. So I'll click once there, carry my line all the way down to the bottom, click again. That will put a node in or a reference point for the drawing. I'll then move my mouse up on a diagonal, and I want to keep it this side of that center line. So I can draw anywhere along that line, as long as I don't go past, like I have done now, that center line. We don't want to go past that center line. So anywhere to the left hand side of that line is great. I'll click once again to select it, and I'm just going to connect the two lines together. Now we're always left with a little tail when you're drawing. So to get rid of that tail, you press the scroll wheel, and that will stop the drawing. Like that, and we use the select tool again, or we can go straight to dimension. So I'll click on dimension because I'm happy that it's selected, and you'll notice I've got one dimension appeared, which is an angle. That angle needs to be changed to 10. So I've just typed into it, and I'm going to type in 10. Now, normally you do a cut, copy, paste job if you were copying something. We actually have to mirror it. So to mirror it, we use the select tool, and we highlight everything we've drawn. So all that purple area, we're going to click the select tool and draw around. So we'll draw around it like that. When we know it's done, it will have a green outline, and then we're going to mirror it. So this is why it was important we didn't cross that center line. So the mirror tool is hidden away just there. So we click on the mirror tool. It'll probably come up with saying that it's the mirror tool again. It's next to the palette button if you're struggling to find it there on the top screen. So we click on that, and all I'm going to do is click on that center line in the middle there. And if by magic, the sketch I've already drawn on the left hand side is now on the right hand side. So it's mirrored the sketch across. So we press the green tick to say that we're happy with that. And you now see we've got two orange sections which are sticking out this time. They're sticking out of the model. We want to remove them, so the easiest way or the quickest way is to drag the little orange dot and just pull the whole thing back, and as we do that, we create that angled chamfer that we were looking for. When we see that it's removed material automatically, the computer's worked out what we were doing, and we press OK. So that's the basic shape of the Lego body. Okay, so this is probably a good time to save our work before we continue. So if we just look in the top left hand corner above the word model and analysis, just to the side of that is a little floppy disk next to the back arrow. Press that to save your work. So we're now going to round off the sections to make it a bit more user friendly, so it's not got so many sharp edges. To do that, we click on the round tool from our ribbon at the top there. So the mouse will move up to the round tool. We'll click on that once, and when that loads up, we're going to round off all of these edges. So we just click on one edge. It's set to 10, so that's fine. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the edges. Now hold down the control key to select more than one edge. So we click on all them top edges, and then I'm going to click on the 4 verticals. So 1, 2, 3. Now we can't see the back one, so we have to use the middle mouse button, hold that down and spin the model around, and you're then able to select that back edge So we click on that and we're going to press the green tick. So we've now rounded off. We're not going to round any of the bottom sections off on this design. So just as we spin it around there, you can get an idea of how we've managed to round off all of them edges. So the next thing we're going to think about is adding the neck to the design. So it's probably just easier to explain this if we put the or if you view the body in isometric. So that's from that little ribbon at the bottom there. We click the standard features thing and we click isometric. Now we're going to start by clicking on the extrude button. So we click extrude. We're going to click that top surface and we can see that it's spun round in front of us. So what we're going to do is draw a circle in the center of the screen. Now if you remember back, we did talk about moving the front to the center. This is one of the reasons why. So I've clicked circle. I'm going to click once to start drawing and once to finish. Please remember, don't click anywhere on the screens. We just want that one circle. Now remember, it's the select button. When we press that, if everything's good and the sketch is good to go and we're happy with it, it will go pinky purple like it has there, and we've got one dimension. The center of that circle is at the origin, so we just need the one dimension, which we're going to change to 40. When we're happy with that, we can see it's in the center, we can see the dimension there. We'll press the green tick and press OK. We use the middle mouse button, or we can press the button there and select isometric. And we select the isometric from the drop down list. I don't know why the drop down list isn't appearing, but never mind. We're going to change the height to 35. Took a bit of playing about with this. So it was originally set at 40. We looked at what 25 was, and you can see that it's too small, so we can change these numbers and get an idea for it. I think we end up on 35 as the dimension that we use to carry forward. So we'll just change that to 35. I think we do 30 first and go. Doesn't quite look long enough. We'll change it to 35. When I'm happy with that, I press the green tick, and we've now got our neck onto the body. So we're just going to round off the bottom of the neck, one to make it a bit stronger, and two to give a bit of definition there. So it's the round tool again. Now the round will be set to 10 because that was the last round we did. So when we click on this, we've got to click on that edge there, so it's highlighted now. We click on there and it's set to 10. So I need to change that number to 5. I don't want it quite as big this time. So we type in 5, and I'm also going to select the top of the block there. So I'm just going to click that top edge there, and that will round off as well, and we'll press OK. So that's now the neck created and the body all round off. Now we just need to make the body hollow. So if we were to 3D print this, we'd make it hollow so we're not wasting all that material. So it's going to be a middle mouse button to scroll the block around so we can actually see the base. There we go. So at the moment the base is quite chunky. We're going to use the shell tool, which is over just off to the right hand side of center on our ribbon there, next to the big pattern button. So we're going to click that once. Now when we click it, nothing happens. You get this definition saying thick down on the right hand side, but until you click the base like we did there, it's not going to hollow. Now you can see that it's hollowed out the base quite well there. Now what we need to do is we need to set a thickness for our shell. Now shells can be quite complex. They sometimes work, they sometimes don't. So to ensure that our shell will work, in the top left hand corner where my mouse has just clicked on now, we're going to set the thickness of our walls to 5 and then press OK. So once we've done that, we just middle mouse button the scroll wheel, and you can see we've got a wall thickness there of 5, and our shape or our body is completely hollow. Now at this point, we're now going to think about adding our other features to the design. So we need to put some holes in it for the arms first. So we just click on our isometric button there. So we click on that one there, select isometric, so we know it's perfectly isometric, and we click on refit, so it's in the center of our page there. So we're going to start with another extrude. So I'm going to click extrude from the center of the ribbon there, and we're going to be working and extruding on the right plane. So a plane that is through the center of the model at the moment. So I'll go over to the model tree, click on the word right, and it's going to spin round. Now what we're aiming to do is to draw a circle. So we need to select circle from the ribbon at the top there, and we're going to draw a circle on that center line that's coming down. So we click the circle, we'll then move the mouse over to the center line. So the mouse is now snapped to that center line. We click once to start drawing, and then we click again to finish our circle. Now it's important you don't snap to anything. Once we've drawn a circle, it's back to the select button. Now if everything's good, the circle is going to change color, it's going to fill in, and we'll get our dimensions appear. In this case, we're going to get 2 dimensions, one for the diameter of circle and one for the position of the circle above the center line. So they've come up now, so I'm going to click the first one, which is for the diameter, and we're going to change that to 25. So we just double click on that number now, and I'll type in 25 for my diameter of the circle. And then I need to click the height of the circle from the center line. So there's a dimension there, so I'm going to double click on that to change the number. So we do that now, and we're going to change that number to 30. So we just type that in, and that will then make sure that the circle is exactly where we want it. Now if we're happy with everything, we go up to the OK, the green tick. We'll press that, and I'll just view this in isometric again, because you might think nothing's happened, what's going on? Now what's happening is the extrude is inside the block, it's in that area we shelled out. So to see what's going on, I'm just going to drag, so I'm going to click on that edge and just drag my extrude all the way through the model there. So it's seeing it's adding material. We don't want to add material, we want to remove it. So to remove the material, we go to the button just below settings, which says remove material. Sometimes the computer automatically does this for you, other times you have to manually tell it that you need to. So we do that, and we've now got a nice hole. We're going to use that symmetrical button again, so it's going to go out both sides. And what we'll do is we'll just use the middle mouse button so you can just see the other side, and you can see that we've been able to create a hole going both the ways through. So if you middle mouse it now, you can see that hole passes through both sides of the body, and we're going to click OK. Now I think at this point it would be a really good time to save your work if you haven't done so already. So we're just going to click on the save button, which looks like a floppy disk. The first time you do it, it will come up with this save object. All you need to do is press OK, because you've already set your working directory to the correct location. So you're going to press OK on that, and it's saved. Now we've got one last little bit to do. We just need to make the connection for the legs or the waist a bit stronger. So to do that, we're going to do an extrude on the bottom surface. So we're just going to close down that shell a little bit. So we click extrude from the surface there. And I need to be very careful now when I select my surface, because it's that very thin edge of the bottom of the shell there that we're looking to select. So I move my mouse onto it, it's highlighted red. I'm going to press to click that surface, and as I do, the whole model will then rotate around in front of me. So there we go, it's round in front of me. We're going to do a center rectangle again. So we're going to click center rectangle, and we're going to draw from the center of our model. Now it's really, really important we don't snap any of our lines to any of the existing dimensions or edges. So that looks clear there, but my mouse is just showing you some of the things that you've got to be careful you don't snap to. If you do, press delete and try again. So once we know that the square, or the rectangle in this case, is in there, it's not snapping to anything, we can set the dimensions. So it's the select tool, and we're going to click on the 2 dimensions that will appear and set them to the correct values. So the first one we're going to do is the top dimension, which needs to be set to 120 millimeters. So we type that in and press enter, and it will change the dimensions that way. And the second one needs to be set to 50. So change the dimensions. You should have got in the habit of this now. You double click on the number, you type in the dimension you want. So we want 50. Now if I press the tick now, we just end up with a block in the middle there. We don't want that. We actually want to use a button we haven't used yet called the project tool. So we click on that, and this is going to basically copy some of the features we've already got there. Don't worry about the box that appears that says type. All you're going to do is click on these edges. So one, I'm just going to move around that inside edge of that shell, clicking on all the edges. As I do that, they will start to appear on our drawing. So we're going to make a little ring, almost a rectangular ring on the bottom of the minifigure. Now when I click the last one, this little curve now, you'll notice the middle is no longer going to be pink. I'm now going to end up with a contour or a rectangular ring. So that's what we wanted. So we're now going to just use the middle mouse button just so you can see what happens or what we've created. So we just spin that around on the middle mouse button before we press the green tick, just to give you an idea of what's going on there. So when we press the green tick, you'll see what happens. So there's our ring that we've created. We'll press the green tick, it's going to go orange and force that material out as an extrude. Now we don't want it to come below, we actually want it to go back in on itself. So to do that, I'm first of all going to change the dimension to 20, which we do like that just by typing it in, and then next to the dimensions a little button which is going to flip the direction of the extrude. So we press that, and that extrude will then flip inside of it. It's made the base a little bit thicker now for protection, and it's going to make it easier to connect our other parts on. So once we're happy, we press the green tick, we view that in isometric. So we just scroll down and click isometric. You might need to press the refit button as well, which is there. And all that's left now is to save the work. Now it's really important you do save your work regularly. So we'll just go up and press save. Now you notice the last time we had that box up because it's the first time we're saving it. This time it just says save. If you're not sure, just look in the bottom left hand corner and it will say body has been saved. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please remember to like and subscribe to the Bishop's DTE YouTube channel. We hope to see you again soon.